Let's go.
Hello, everybody, and good morning, and welcome back to the show. And today it's an absolute honor to welcome the inspiring Dr. Supriya, a woman with beauty, with intelligence in science, arts, and advocacy, a renowned neurologist, award winning author, and celebrated classical dancer. She embodies grace, intellectual capabilities, and compassion. So recently, she has been crowned with three titles. I guess maybe she could discuss the same with us in detail about herself. But the most recent one is Mrs. Universe USA, and she is empowering different platforms in her life, trying to touch different multiple lives across the board. And we are delighted to have you on the show today. And we'll be talking about your journey, your purpose, your passion, and perseverance. So I welcome you on the show once again.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Aarti. It's such a pleasure and honor to be on this show, to be on your podcast. I've heard a lot of good things about your podcast, and I actually saw a few sessions too. So it's very inspiring that you're doing this and making a difference in the community. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a
So
complete
I'm
pleasure from our side. It's a complete pleasure to have you, especially on your birthday today. And you're looking very good. So,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. Thank you, and you made it more, I guess, more special for me.
yeah, thank you so much.
So I'm starting the day with this podcast.
All right, that's great. That's good to see you. And then let me just yeah, start with a few questions that actually I was really curious to know about you. Of course, you have been handling so much at the same time. I mean, so much of talent. I haven't seen this kind of person
Mhm.
with so much of talent in a single, a single soul. So you're actually working as a neurologist in USA, right? And you also are a dancer,
Yes,
are an author, and
yes.
you also have won a few pageants, right? So how do you actually balance these
Yes.
diverse roles in your life?
So basically, for me, I feel like in my mind, I think of it as following my passions and having a purpose at the same time. So each role for me, whether it's being a neurologist or a classical dancer or an author or even a pageant queen, basically, I feel like it reflects a different dimension of who I am. And yet they all connect with one core value, which is empowerment, service, creativity, and basically giving your best in whatever you do. So medicine allows me to heal the mind. Um, it allows me to impact lives, help people, and make them feel better. At the same time, dance connects me to my cultural roots and brings me emotional balance. Last year, and I published this book on women empowerment. It's basically the book talks about my journey and what challenges I had in life and how I overcome the challenges. And it gave me a platform to share and inspire my stories. And pageantry basically amplifies my voice for both women advocacy and women empowerment. I feel like balancing all these different roles doesn't mean doing everything all at the same time, but it means being fully present in whatever I'm doing at the moment. And I feel when your work aligns with your purpose, it works together in harmony rather than in chaos. And I have to be fully present and intentional in each role. And basically, when your pursuit aligns with your values, they complement each other rather than compete with each other.
Right, so beautiful actually, but I would still say it's not that easy with our day-to-day life to still handle so many roles at the same time. And you're doing a commendable job so far. So, what I
Thank you
wanted
so
to know
much.
about you so far was that actually this classical dance was, I'm sure I assume that you might have that talent within you, and but we still need to inculcate something in us to just refine ourselves, right? So, did you take any training specifically for this classical dance, or how did it, is it in the family, or how or figure out, okay, classical dance is what you actually want to do apart from your medicine?
Got it. So actually, it's not in my family, meaning that I didn't have any dancers in my family to look up to. So I have an interesting story. When I was small, basically, I grew up in Chennai, and my mom put me in Bharatanatyam classes.
Right.
So when I was small, I think I probably went for just 3 months or 6 months, and I was a dropout. I did not continue my classes, but that thought always stayed in my mind because I wanted to. Later on, when I grew up, is when I developed an interest in dance. So I always had that in my mind that probably I should have learned classical dance, that I probably missed out on something that would have been a great art form to continue. And then after that, I was in 11th and 12th, and you know how in India it's very competitive to get into medical school. So I did not have time to start dance classes. And then I went into medical school, and then I got married, and then I came here to the US, and then residency happens, fellowship happens. So there's basically no time to pursue your passions. And then after all this, after I started my career, after I started my private practice in neurology, that's when I thought maybe I can go back and start. And then luckily here I had a teacher who would teach Kuchipudi. I didn't find a Bharatanatyam teacher, but Kuchipudi is equally beautiful. It's a amazing dance form and requires a lot of discipline and dedication. So when I met a teacher here, I decided, okay, fine. It doesn't matter whether it's Bharatanatyam or Kuchipudi. I just want to get started. So I started my classical training here, and then I advanced, and then I was able to do my Rangapravesh. The other name for that is Arangetram. I did that in 2021 here in Dallas. So that was just an amazing experience to be able to connect to my cultural roots. And also, that brings the thought that tradition and modernity don't have to be separate. You can blend them both together.
So I want to just extend this conversation and know more about how do you actually infuse this in your world now, and then also talk about bringing your cultural roots and connections to US when you are actually working there now.
Yeah, so basically, when you come to the US, you start missing your culture, you start missing your connections, your rich heritage that we have over there. So dance kind of helps me connect with all that. And because I got trained in Kuchipudi, I got the opportunity to perform in different organizations here in the Dallas area in Texas and also different temples. So we have a lot of temples in Dallas. So it gives me an opportunity to connect with my roots, to show our culture to the world over here, and to connect both the worlds together.
Wow, because I totally understand. I will actually second the thought by saying that, okay, yes, when Indians move abroad, they still carry their culture, they still carry their, they still remember their roots. And I'm sure, I mean, it's actually
Exactly.
sometimes you don't even realize that you're not in India, apart from, I mean, let's
Right,
just
yes.
not being with your family. That's
And with
the
these
only thing.
dances,
Yeah.
with the dance performance, I can tell universal stories,
Right, very
stories
true,
that
very
resonate
true.
across different populations. You still honor the depth and purity of classical art form. So I feel like you can connect more with people. I've also done some classical fusion dances where I combine our Indian rhythm along with Western music. So that way, I'm also able to blend different styles and connect with different audiences, spark curiosity about Indian heritage.
And that's beautiful actually, because I mean I've seen a few pictures of yours, and I mean they're really beautiful, very graceful actually, and that totally depicts the
Thank
Indian
you,
culture
thank
that
you,
you are bringing to the page. Yeah. So okay, so let me just
thank
talk
you.
about,
Yeah, it's
yeah, please.
yeah. I just want to end with one thing. It's just my way of keeping the tradition alive while we keep it relevant and relatable in the global world.
And that's the very right approach actually, and that's, I believe, I mean anybody who has a chance or some talent, I guess they should do their part from their perspective, so that you're actually doing the right thing in life, taking the culture forward. All right, so let me just focus on the crowns, the title that you have won so far. There are three titles, right? Can you please tell us
Right.
which are those three titles?
So this was my most recent pageant, which was Mrs. Universe. Prior to that, last year I went to Mrs. Dallas, and I was a winner there. And then I went to Miss Asia North America. That was my second pageant. So this is my third one. This is Mrs. Universe USA. It was definitely an amazing experience because I did not expect to win three crowns. I just went in thinking that I want to experience this and see how it goes. It's definitely a more like a global platform or a national platform level. So winning three crowns for me was truly an honor. It's more than a personal achievement. For me, I felt like it was a platform for purpose because I wanted to use this opportunity to inspire women, to remind women to embrace every facet of themselves and to know that they can pursue different dreams without limiting themselves in one particular box.
Right. So, what I want to know is that how do you actually utilize this platform? Because of course, that's a it's a privilege to be on these platforms so far, and you have already had achieved so much, especially having three crowns. It's not an easy job. I'm sure. I'm sure it's not really very something which is happening with everybody every now and then. Whosoever is into
Right.
pageant, so that's an accomplishment. So, of course, how do you actually utilize these platforms for yourself? What kind of message do you think you would like to convey to the society through this?
Sure. So my platform, basically, I like to focus on women advocacy and women empowerment. I want to show women that strength and grace can coexist. That also when they put passion and purpose together, they can create meaningful change and impact other lives. Through this platform, I'm mainly focusing on women empowerment, mental health awareness, and also learn teaching people that they can push their limits and try to excel in more than one field.
Right. Okay. So now let me talk about your another talent, which is being an author. You have written a book, right? About can we actually have a brief of the book? What is all about?
Sure. So the book is called Sheroes, and the book was based on women empowerment. It's actually a co-authored book, and there are 12 authors in the book. All of us come up different kinds of challenges. So together, the book is more for women empowerment, resilience, strength, and how to overcome, how to have a voice. Um, in this book we've talked about our journeys. I've talked about my life, my younger days, how medical school was, how tough it was to get into residency and fellowship, and the different challenges that we go through. So it's basically a voice for women. I feel like, again, with compassion, they can, with compassion and a purpose, they can overcome things, and also for mental health awareness, for self love. So, definitely, it's a good read. It's also about the importance of balancing ambition with well being.
Wow. So I guess it's a mix of all the most trending and important concern nowadays people have been raising. I guess well-being, women empowerment, self-love, of course. So what I want to know is that what is your perspective about women empowerment? How do you define women empowerment personally for yourself? So what is it in your own perspective?
Yes. So, for me, women empowerment is more about self awareness and having a choice. And it's not just about having a voice, but also having the confidence to use that voice with purpose. And I feel true empowerment begins when a woman recognizes her worth and she defines success on her own terms and lifts others as she rises. It's also important to inspire others and also have them rise along with you. And through my writing, I remind women that strength, it does not mean remaining unbreakable, but what it actually means is that embracing your vulnerability, your resilience, and your authenticity. And empowerment, I feel like, is truly to be yourself unapologetically and also creating space for others to do the same.
And I love the statement. I love the last statement, which says that, okay, we should take people along with us. It's not just about us, but yes, taking people along. So at least even they could benefit. So any kind of push, any kind of
Exactly.
support, taking everybody on the same, like on the same page, having on the same page and have mutual respect, mutual support is very, very important nowadays.
Mutual support.
Yeah.
Exactly. Growing up, I'm sure there are people who inspired us and we followed them. So we want to do the same for the generations that come behind us.
Okay, so let me focus on your you being a doctor, your contribution as a doctor, your medicine, and your background. So how has this experience in the medicine shaped your advocacy towards work and vice versa?
So through medicine, I'm able to directly connect with patients, talk to them about their symptoms, and treat them as a whole, not just their physical symptoms, but again, also their mental well-being. I do treat a lot of patients with depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, from a lot of emotional damage in their life. So definitely, I talk to them the importance of mental well-being, mental strength, which also contributes to physical strength. So while I'm also healing neurological problems like, patients with stroke, migraine, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, these are all the neurological conditions that I treat. But at the same time, I focus on the emotional part of it too, because mental well being is as important as physical well being. And being a doctor, I feel like it's given me the front row seat to human experience, to things like resilience, pain, and hope. As a neurologist, I'm able to see that health is not just physical, but it's also emotional and social. So I'm able to understand better and I'm able to advocate better for holistic well being. And healing extends beyond the hospital walls, beyond my clinic hallways. It extends out into the world where I meet people and talk to them, and I hear kind of similar stories of resilience and pain and hope.
Right. And trying to heal is, I believe, I guess, this is why we talk about not depending much on the social media, but also have that human touch in your life where you have the power to heal somebody else, right? Isn't it? So apart from the hospital walls,
Exactly.
it's actually how much do you contribute specifically from your own end to somebody who really needs help, because
Exactly.
yeah,
You're totally right. In this day and age, I feel like people spend a lot of time on social media, but I think the actual human connection makes a big difference because it brings empathy, it gives people the tools to take control of their own lives.
right. So, doctor, so
And
what kind of advice would you actually like to, give to people, extend to people who are afraid of, of losing somebody or any kind of fear they have in life, and you want them to go
Mhm.
beyond, choose a career path. So, what kind of advice would you actually like to give to them, such people?
Sure. So, what I tell people is that they don't need to fit into one box to be successful. For example, if you take my own life story, I mean, I'm a neurologist, and that's what I've been doing all along, for a long time. Most of my 20s I spent studying, most of my 30s I spent building a career and becoming successful in my career. And then just recently, I started exploring into new things. The first time I entered a beauty pageant was last year in 2024, and I came out to be a winner. And then the first time I wrote a book was earlier this year, and the book was chosen as a winner of International Impact Awards. So I did not know my potential until I actually tried something new. So often, I feel we are often taught to define ourselves by a single title, by a single role, than that. Every passion that you explore, every interest adds a new dimension to who we are. And the key is to lead with purpose and to stay authentic because when we align our purposes and our values, they complement each other beautifully. They're more in harmony rather than in chaos. And growth happens when we step beyond the comfort zone. So, my advice would be don't be afraid to explore. Don't be too afraid to step out of your comfort box because you might discover versions of yourself that you never knew existed.
Right. Okay. So let me just take a moment to actually, request you. I actually want to talk about Parkinson's and the different kind of diseases people can actually have for a moment because no,
Mhm.
I know it because even my husband is a neurologist in Oxford, so I know it. I know how
Oh,
hard he's
really?
working on that, but I don't think much people are aware of the same perspective. So if you could just spare like 2-3 minutes and talk about some mental, issues which can actually result in these kind of problems and how we could just try to support people from this apart from general or maybe a few of the mental issues which can actually result nowadays and which is more common happening.
I would say there's a lot of anxiety, and I think anxiety could be a result of social media exposure too, because I feel like patients are reading up, they have access to jokes on this with my patients because they look up their symptoms and they already come to me with a diagnosis, and I tell them, "Did you consult with Dr. Google?" Because it's really funny the
Yeah.
way Dr. Google connects things
Yeah.
because if they type up their symptoms, pretty much it comes up saying that they're dying or they have cancer or they have multiple sclerosis or ALS, something that's untreatable. So when people come to me with so much of information, sometimes I'm able to make out that it's a Dr. Google diagnosis. So I think social media also creates a lot of anxiety because I know there are lots of people who are giving advices on Instagram and TikTok who are not real doctors. So
Right.
I think I think it's good to have access to all these platforms and to be able to get educated easily, but also it's important to know who's credible and who's
So thank you so much for your time, and I understand it's a very busy schedule for you. It's a weekend you want to spend time with your family, especially on your birthday. So I won't be taking much of your time for the podcast, but it was really nice to have you on the show. And thank you so much for gracing us with the wisdom and the warmth. Your story reminds us that the
Thank
true
you so much.
empowerment basically relies in living with purpose and inspiration, actually, and that you have been spreading around you and from different platforms. So I wish you all the best in the upcoming years. And it's a privilege to be again with you on the same page today through the podcast. So thank you. I wish you all the best. It was nice
Thank you
meeting
so
you.
much for having me on this platform. And like I said, right now it's at 7:30 in the morning, so I'm starting my birthday with your podcast. So it definitely made it really special to have this platform and for me to have a voice too.
Right. No, thank you so much for choosing us, and thank you so much for trusting and still be available for us. 7:30 in the morning is too early for you. Right. Thank you so much. Have a good day,
No,
and
it's
I really
okay.
appreciate. Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. You have a good day too.
Well, this was with us on the show today, Dr. Supriya, and she's an MD. She's a neurologist in USA, and she also has crowned three titles so far from the pageants she has been participating into. I would personally like to thank her for gracing today the show, the podcast. Her story is a true reflection of empowered women in today's society, which is who's living with a purpose and inspiring others to rise too. And we wish you all the best. I wish you continued success as you keep on transforming lives through your healing, through your art and advocacy. It has been a privilege having you on the show today, and I hope people would learn something from your journey. They would also try to accomplish their dreams, come what may, at whatever stage in life. And I hope you could take out something from her inspiring journey. So this is your host signing off. I'll see you next time with a fresh guest on the channel. Until then, take care of yourself, keep shining, keep inspiring others, keep supporting others, keep pushing people around you. We need sympathy and empathy every now and then. So I wish you all the best, everybody who come across this podcast, and take care. Have a good day. This is your host signing off.